Romshinators, Romshinators, it is so good to be speaking with you once again on this incredible fall day. The air outside is brisk and pure, and the leaves are red and orange, and they fall to the ground with such grace and create crunching sounds. A feast for the ears. On my way here, I reached speeds unimaginable by my caveman DNA. I was soaring through space. I was seeing the world in a whole different way. I was going so fast that my life was at risk, but it felt good. It felt right. I was carving my way around pedestrians, flying and out in front of cars, running red lights, cutting in at the crosswalks, all the while observing this beautiful universe of which I am a part. All the while completely connected with my body, completely inside of my mind, focusing on my breath, feeling my connection to life and my connection to death. Fully embodying the moment. A level of mindful mastery often never attained in a human lifetime. How was I doing this, you may ask? What piece of alien technology was romshii using to achieve such levels of mind, mentalism, mastery? Well, that piece of technology, hold your breath, the bicycle. It's the bicycle. And in the year 2024, even small children are capable of riding the bicycle. They put these little training wheels on them, and they even ride bicycles. It's not just a fad. It's a mode of transportation. It's a way of being. And yes, I do believe it is also the greatest tool for mindfulness that we have as human beings on this earth. Every time I throw my leg over the bar and get on my bike, I am instantly connected to the here and now. Because if my mind falters and starts to wander, I am putting my life in danger. Why is it important to be mindful? Why is it important to be in the moment? Why does it matter? Do you think the cavemen of yesteryear worried about being in their body? No. They were in a constant state of survival. A state which I can only attain by riding the bicycle. Never do I feel more connected to my true self than when the wheels are spinning and I can hear that beautiful sound underneath me. And I see the world passing by me at a rapid pace. I see the way all the people smile at each other. I see them moving. I see them going about their day. I can feel the air going in and out of my nostrils. My eyes are darting around. I'm cutting in front of cars. I'm almost hitting people. I'm almost getting hit. And every once in a while, I wind up in the emergency room when I wasn't mindful enough. Why meditate? Why sit there and focus on your breathing and try to look at a brick wall or look at a tree, or just get on a bike and risk your life? Now that we've established that riding the bicycle is the most beautiful and simplest way to reach a level of mindfulness previously thought impossible, let's go over a few tips for riding the bicycle in an urban environment, which will help you greatly. Now, if you live in a small town or in a rural area, you may not need to focus too much on what I'm about to say, but it won't hurt. Because it's easy to ride the bike and feel these incredible feelings on the daily and start to get too comfortable. And when you become too comfortable, then your mind begins to wander. You begin to become non-mindful. You're not paying attention to your surroundings, and hopefully this won't be you. But you may find yourself laying on the pavement all scratched up. The number one thing you need to remember about riding a bicycle is that you need to be wearing a helmet. I used to not wear a helmet, and one day I was on my way to work, a route that I take every day, and my mind was wandering. I wasn't being mindful, you see. Even though I was using the greatest tool for mindfulness available to mankind, I chose to let my mind wander, and I flew forward off my bicycle and landed on the concrete, and I hit my head. When I got up, I couldn't fully bend my arm. Two of my fingers were completely fucked. My ribs hurt, and I had road rash on the side of my face. My mind was very scattered. When I got up, I heard a voice calling to me from across the street. It was a woman saying, come here right now, come here." She was standing outside of an ice cream store. This crash happened on a beautiful summer day, outside of a purveyor of fine creamed ice. I went up to her with my arm all bent and my face all scratched up, and she said, "You need to go to the hospital immediately. You've just hit your head." She asked me what day of the week it was. I honestly didn't know. I was waiting in the emergency room for 6 or 7 hours. Despite my injuries, I still was far from the most injured person in my city. And when I finally was given a bed in the hallway, the doctor came up to me, took one look at me, and said, "So, were you wearing a helmet?" I had to tell her honestly. I looked at her and said no. And at this time, we were all wearing masks, for reasons which we don't need to discuss. And the look in her eyes, when I told her I was not wearing a helmet, I will never forget that look as long as I live. It was not the look of disappointment. It was not the look of judging. It was the look of somebody who was at their job, having a hard day, realizing their day maybe was about to get a lot harder. Realizing that the guy standing in front of her may have brain damage. Realizing things just got a lot worse. And luckily for me, I have no lasting effects from this accident, but that look will stay with me forever. And ever since that day, I have religiously worn a helmet. It's worth it. It doesn't matter how it looks. Put the helmet on. You need to be wearing a helmet if you're riding a bike. I know it feels incredible to have your hair flapping around behind you, free as a bird, to feel capable, to feel like you don't need protection, to feel invincible. You know what you're doing. any threat you will be able to see and conquer on the spot. But the truth is, the more you feel like that, the more prone you are to having an unexpected, non-mindful moment in which you are vaulted forward and smashed against a cold and uncaring concrete floor, aka the road. And when I was recovering from this accident, I was working at a marijuana dispensary. And as I was working, I was hobbling around with my injuries, and a cyclist came in, and I told her what had happened. And she said, "You know what? One thing you need to understand is that you have to get back up on that bike as soon as you possibly can. Because the longer you leave it, the more it will grow into a complex. You will become scared of the bike the longer you take off. As soon as your accidents have healed, as soon as your arm can bend, as soon as you can manage it, get back on the bike." I'm not sure if that's good advice, but that's what I did. And from that day forward, I was a much safer and more mindful rider. This also leans into the next thing I want to say, is that if you're going to bike every day on your way to work, if you're going to bike for fun, you need to plan a route in which you are in the least amount of danger possible so that you can enjoy the beautiful feeling of riding a bike. And I do understand there is a adrenaline thrill that comes with riding in heavy traffic, being almost hit by cars, flying around people, ringing your bell. I promise you, this thrill is not worth it. The second you hit that pavement, you will understand that that thrill is meaningless. So it's best to take time, go on your little Google Maps, and carve out a nice path for yourself. Even if it takes a few extra minutes, find the safest way to go. Practice your routes. Practice your path. You can always go on an adventure, but if it's something you're going to do every day, know where the mysteries are. Know where to look for cars turning in. And I don't care how rushed you are, don't make brazen and risky moves, ever. The worst thing that can happen is you're going to be a little bit late. Don't risk your life. It's not worth it. Your job will replace you within the week. Your friends and family will be very sad. If you have a slow cyclist in front of you, wait till an appropriate time to pass them. If you have to stop at a red light, just stop. Don't risk it. This is easier said than done, because once you get going and you get that adrenaline flowing, you just want to keep going. You don't want to stop. You want that beautiful feeling to continue, that feeling of just flying. The wind in your face. You don't want to stop for no slow poke in front of you. You don't want to be slowed down by someone who is a lesser cyclist than you, or by a car that's not paying attention. But you need to understand that your life is at risk, and it's worth it just to slow down and take in the scenery for a moment. And this leads me into my next point, which is that you have to pretend that all the other cars do not see you. Think about the society that you're living in. People are distracted, they're on their cell phones, they're going to jobs they hate, they're sitting there on the streets, they're pissed off, you're like a pesky little fly. They're worried about their boss. They're worried about their significant other. They're worried about their place in the corporate ladder. They are not thinking about cyclists in the bike lane. They're looking at their giant Tesla screens, which show them everything they can see with their own eyes, for some reason. You need to pretend that you are invisible. Ring your bell. Wear lights, especially at night. Always be careful. A few months ago, I was hit by a car. A car backed up into me, and I flew out into the street. I scraped my knee pretty badly, but luckily, I wasn't truly hurt by this accident. I immediately got up, took a picture of their license plate. I was shaking. I was so caught off guard by this because I thought they could see me. I thought for sure they would look before backing up extremely fast for no reason. They had missed their turn and stopped just ahead of it. I came out this way and they backed up right into me. I thought for sure they would look. I had my lights. I may have even rung my bell, I don't remember. But the point is, I assume they saw me, and I paid the price. I just want you romshii-nators to be extremely careful out there, because riding a bike is such a beautiful experience. It's such an incredible way to connect you with your body and the moment, and to attain a state of mindfulness which meditation will never give you. I'm not an expert on any of this, but just be careful. You're not invincible. Despite all that doom and gloom, riding a bike is one of my favorite things. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my experiences, so that maybe you can avoid something bad happening to you in the future. Thanks for listening, romshii-nators. I'm just going to make some music now, so if you want to tune out and just kind of do something else with your day, that's totally awesome. If you want to just leave me a comment down below so I know that somebody's watched all the way to this point, please say, Romshii, I will bike safely and reach unattainable levels of mindfulness tonight. So if you could just comment that down below, I would appreciate it so I know that somebody's watching all the way. Because I really do appreciate you. I appreciate you if you're watching these videos, and I appreciate if you're getting in on the vibe, because I'm really having a beautiful time making them. Expressing myself creatively through the majesty of spoken word and expensive guitar pedals, which depreciate in value after you buy them. So thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Please, if you're gonna ride your bike, enjoy the beautiful experience that it is, but be very careful, because just like that, everything can change. And all of a sudden you're waiting in the hospital for 8 hours, getting x-rays, getting your brain looked at, having to get your roommates to wake you up every 2 hours, watching movies for days on end. Have you ever gotten up out of bed with broken ribs? It hurts. There's nothing they can do for broken ribs. You just have to deal with them. But fuck, do I love riding a bicycle. So thank you, romshii-nators. Thank you for watching. I'm just gonna make some music now. Feel free to do whatever you want. Riding a bike is really such an incredible way to just explore the world around you. You just need to be careful when you do it. It's such a beautiful way to connect with your body and your breath and your brain, to push yourself to new heights. You just got to make sure you don't put yourself in the doctor's office, because that's not good, man. See, I'm in such a good mood now. I always do that. I get into such a good mood when I start doing it. Riding a bike is so fun. Just an incredible pastime. Why do we stop riding a bike? The whole world should be made for bikes. You know how much happier everybody would be? Everyone would be smiling. We'd be all fit and shit. Our calves would just be bulging out of our fucking shorts. You know, and I'm not one of those guys who gets in that spandex suit with the real tight clothes and everything. I'm not one of those guys. One day I might be. All it would take is a couple more tragedies and I'm gonna be one of those guys, okay? I'm gonna have the water bottles on my ass, flying down the street, ungodly speeds, hitting the freeway, getting in with traffic. No. That's exactly what I'm not gonna do. I'm not one of those guys who rides a fixed gear bike with no brakes either. That's crazy. That's a death trap, man. You gotta have brakes on your bike if you expect me to take you seriously. If we go out for a ride together and you're dressed in spandex and you got no brakes on your bike and you got 5 water bottles strapped to your butt, I'm gonna think twice about giving you half of my Cliff Bar later when you get hungry. I'm gonna think twice. I'm gonna think, does this guy really, is he gonna make it long enough to burn these calories, or is he gonna fucking fly off a bridge and land in a river and a bear is gonna eat him because he doesn't have brakes? And I'm gonna be out my half of the Cliff Bar and I'm gonna be fucking traumatized because he thought he was invincible. He thought he didn't need brakes. He thought that he didn't have to bring his own Cliff Bar because he didn't want it weighing him down. And then when we hit the summit and it's time for a snack, he wants half of my Cliff Bar. I got the mint chocolate Cliff Bar for me. That's my favorite flavor and I know where to get them. You can't get those ones everywhere. Usually you got chocolate, double chocolate, you got almond fudge. The mint chocolate ones, you gotta find your spot. You might have to make some phone calls. And you can't even put brakes on your bike. These are all scenarios that have never happened, by the way. This is just stuff that I'm spitballing at the end of the video. I know very few of you have made it this far, so I'm talking to a small audience right now, which is great because there's been a lot of talk recently about, you know, the dead internet theory. I see all these videos on the dead internet theory. Welcome to the living part of the internet, where things take time, where things go slow, where there's nice ambient music in the background, where we talk about real things. This is romshii radio. This is where the romshinators come to do their thing. And it's not something that is for everybody. So if you've made it this far, you're in a special club. You're receiving something in the mail from me. Good things are about to happen in your life. No more nightmares, only good dreams from here on in. But seriously though, like if you show up in the spandex and you got water bottles strapped to your knees, you got wrist guards on, but you don't have brakes, and you fly into the river and a moose picks you up and raises you as his own, and I have to witness that, you're not getting half of my mint chocolate Cliff Bar. Understand that, respect that, R to the OMSHI, you will never get that from me because I have boundaries I set. But there's no boundary to how much fun you can have riding a bike if you do it safely. So thank you very much for watching Romshinators. Please stay safe. Please let me know down below if you love this content. I don't want any negativity though, I can't handle it. See you later. Have a fantastic rest of your day.